How's it going, everyone? My name is Plague, and today I'm going to be doing a deep dive into the next-gen patch for The Witcher 3 and go over most everything that has changed or been added to the game. To start us off, I'm going to be showing you guys the single best thing above everything else that is included in the next-gen patch. They finally put the sign in Crow's Perch. Thank God. I will never again have to cross that bridge and walk all the way around and up to get into the castle. I think it's worth mentioning that this update is really a collection of mods more than anything else and is aimed more towards the console community and the PC community that prefers not to use mods. I know that's kind of a niche group and a very small group of people, but like even me myself, I usually don't like to use mods all that much, and I kind of think that if the game isn't good without mods, it's not going to be good with mods in my opinion, so I really try to stay away from them. That's just kind of me though. CD Projekt Red has added ray tracing and ambient occlusion to the game, the former of which will obviously need an RTX 20 series card or an AMD RX 6000 equivalent, or better to use for PC players that do have these GPUs available. CDPR has also given us the ability to turn on ray trace reflections and shadows, so that's pretty cool. As I was saying before, this update is really just a collection of mods that CDPR has taken and made official to the game. As CDPR says, these are community-made and community-inspired mods. These mods include The Witcher 3 HD Reworked Project by HalkHogan, good name. HD Monsters Reworked by Denroth. Immersive Real-Time Cutscenes by Taiji25. Sorry if I butchered that. Nitpickers Patch by Chuckcash, and World Map Fixes by Turg500. There's one more mod that was added or inspired changes to the game that adds quite a bit, but we'll get to that one a little later. The Witcher 3 HD Reworked Project adds a bunch of new textures to the game and helps a lot of the older flat textures have more depth and an overall better look. This doesn't only include static objects and textures, and even includes some non-monster animals. HD Monsters Reworked covers the monsters that HD Reworked Project doesn't get to, and honestly makes the monsters in The Witcher 3 look much better and gives them the depth they really needed, in my opinion. And honestly, I think it's one of the more impressive additions to the game. Immersive real-time cutscenes changes most of the cutscenes in the game from pre-rendered cutscenes to real-time rendered cutscenes, which greatly increases the quality of the cutscenes themselves and also allows for the alternative outfits for characters being shown in these cutscenes instead of the base look for the character. I feel like I'm saying cutscenes a lot. Now, the original mod only covered 7 of the more important cutscenes in the game. I'm not sure if CDPR decided to take this the rest of the way and do this for every cutscene in the game, but regardless, it's a pretty good change. The Nitpickers patch is exactly what it sounds like. It takes small things that, unless you were really looking for them, you probably wouldn't notice in the first place, such as small clipping issues with clothes and swords and random baskets floating in the air. But now, because of this patch, if you're nitpicky about these things, you no longer have to worry about them. The World Map Fixes mod is another pretty self-explanatory mod that takes the world map and fixes part of it that either shouldn't include things that are on it, such as glaciers or frozen parts of water that aren't actually there, or on the flip side, adds things that are missing from the map, such as streams that go through towns or docks on lakes. You can now also filter out all those pesky check marks that are cluttering up your map, so that's pretty nice. Several of the characters in the game also have their textures upscaled to 4K. This includes Geralt, Yennefer, Triss, Ciri, Aridin, and some more unlisted ones that I'm imagining are important to the story of the game, such as maybe Dandelion, Anna Henrietta, Emir von Emrys, and Gunther Odim. On top of that, all the main characters now cast high-resolution self-shadowing outside of cutscenes, and hair clipping and armor clipping issues have also been worked on. A photo mode and new camera distances are being added to the game as well. The new photo mode works more or less the same as the photo mode from Cyberpunk does. The photo mode does seem to have some issues right now, though, where it's giving me this weird kind of almost lens to look through where everything else is dark, and then sometimes my entire screen will either turn entirely red or I'll get that weird lens to look through, but everything else is red. I'm not really sure why this is happening, if it's just a bug right now that needs to be worked on, but it's kind of weird. The new camera distances are pretty cool and can be applied differently for exploring, combat, and horse riding. The default camera distance is the way it was before the next gen update and works the way it did before and will zoom in and out depending on situation and location. The close camera sticks to Geralt pretty good and doesn't adjust or zoom as much, so you're always pretty close to the character. There is a new weather type that has been added to the game that CDPR is calling Gray Sky, and will give the game a dark, gloomy feel to it when this weather effect is happening. CDPR has also updated the sky textures, so those should be looking good and match all the new vegetation and water improvements that have been made. AMD FSR 2.1 and NVIDIA DLSS 3 have also been added to the game in this update, which from my testing work pretty well and really do help with performance of the game. Good thing too, because CDPR has added an Ultra Plus graphical setting on PC, which will make the visual side of this game that much more beautiful. But unless you're running a pretty beefy build, I personally wouldn't recommend this setting. Cross progression has been added to the game, so if you own a PC and also own a PlayStation or Xbox and get tired of sitting in your $500 gaming chair, then you can move to your couch and continue where you left off. The next gen update also includes various Netflix The Witcher add-ons, such as 2 of Geralt's armor sets and swords from the show, and that super ugly Nilfgaardian armor that they used in the show. So if you actually like this armor for some reason, well then, here you go, I guess. The worst thing coming from the Netflix stuff is this optional Dandelion reskin that turns him into Jaskier, and honestly, maybe it's just me, but this skin just looks super weird, and I kind of hate it. Like, it doesn't quite look like Dandelion, and it's not quite Jaskier either. Honestly, it looks like Shrek's Prince Charming to me than anything else, so that's there. I understand it says work in progress, but if this is the final version of the Dandelion reskin, God help us all. CDPR has also added a quick sign casting option that lets you switch between signs and cast them without opening the radial menu. And they have also adjusted fall damage, so gone are the days of missing a step and dying to Geralt's greatest enemy of all, gravity. The other mod that was added to the game that I was talking about earlier is Full Combat Rebalance 3 by Flash in the Flesh. CD Projekt Red took a mostly curated approach to this mod. What this mod does is it rebalances some weapons, armor, combat, and general gameplay. Not every change this mod brought to the game is being brought over to the next gen patch, but it is nice to see as some of the mastercrafted armor sets made Geralt a literal walking god if you use them with the right skills and sets. That pesky chest for the Wolf Skull gear armor has been fixed, and we shouldn't have issues opening it anymore. Honestly, I think my first playthrough had this bug, and it made me never even get the Wolf's gear. The Wolf Skull gear. So this is a really nice fix. Honestly, overall, I think this update is really good, and it brings a lot of good quality of life changes to the game that feels like a breath of fresh air that I'm sure is going to bring hordes of Witcher fans back to the game, especially after the disaster going on with the Netflix Witcher show and the awful reception of the Witcher Old Blood. I think this is what Witcher fans have been really needing. If the remake for The Witcher 1 is anywhere close to this next gen update, then at least on the video game side of things, the next few years of the Witcher universe are looking pretty bright. And I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll even get a Witcher Assassin of Kings remake if the remake for the first game does well enough. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed and liked. It really means a lot to me and shows me what kind of content you all are wanting to see. If you want more Witcher content, then please let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.